Good day and welcome, America and beyond. I'm Tom Donahue for Tom Donahue Reports and The Briefing. And Happy New Year, 2025. So glad that you are still here and with us. And I was able to get back into my email. I had to continue filling out the security questions and these forms, and I was making it overly complicated because they'll ask questions like, did you ever use Skype? Did you ever pay for service? And so I went back many, many years. I tried to jog my memory. I did some searches. And when I took all that out and just answered more directly, and I also went into Microsoft Wallet and updated some things, voila, boom. It then gave me a reset password link, and then I got back in. So I was out of my email, which meant I had documents 15, 16 years, all these past emails, all these past contacts and current contacts. And so I was really personally and professionally shut out and shut down. And it really did affect adversely the way I transacted my life. And so we are very attached and codependent as it relates to technology. There are the pluses, the minuses, the upside and the downside, but these autocrats of technology, these tech giants and monoliths that control through automation how we are able to utilize the devices and the tech platforms and apps is confounding and very disturbing. So anyway, I was successful. I was able to respond to many of you that were trying to reach me. I did make mention in the previous podcast in the text portion that I was successful and that I have regained access to my email. So that out of the way, and I'm really glad that we were able to do that. But it did affect the work I do at TalkStream Live because we were using WordPress as a way to publish our ranking reports, the ratings, and various other things that relate to the streaming talk and podcast industry. And so we had to come up with an alternative, which is what I want to talk about today, is Substack. Now, you probably see a lot of journalists and people that are writers that go on talk shows and they discuss their work and how to read, and many of them charge. I'm not going to be charging. TalkStream Live won't be charging, so don't worry about that to subscribe. But I really like the formatting, the way to utilize Substack. So with that said, I want to share with you that I have several pages, but they're all in a hub in my dashboard, but they are separate and distinct. So you would have to subscribe to each one separately if you chose to get alerts, whether it be a story, whether it be a video, whatever it is that I'm sharing. If you're a subscriber, it would directly go into your email inbox, and so you would have a direct access. So I want to share with you some of those pages that I have or have created that I think you will find quite interesting, and I'm excited to be able to share these things with you. First of all, I want to let you know that TalkStream Live, if you're interested in what we do there in terms of all the different talk shows and the podcasts and the streaming universe and the ratings and rankings reports, then you would simply go to talkstreamlive.substack.com. And you'll see those things there. And with me being the editor there, as well as I'm the editor for the news headlines at TalkStream Live, you will see that I'm also the program director. I will be managing this page for TalkStream Live. So all that information relating to streaming, podcasting, rankings, ratings is right there on Substack. Now, we did put a link in there to go back to past reports and postings with WordPress. We don't know if we're going to be able to regain access there. With that said, we had to come up with an alternative, and that is Substack. So that's where we're going to be filing all future, current and future reports. So regardless of what happens with WordPress, that's how you'd want to access that. And I did put that into the news headlines. Now, for my show specifically, I was able to secure tomdonahuereports.substack.com, tomdonahuereports.substack.com. And I put my podcast over there, although I have podcasts with Podomatic, which is where my originating platform is, and probably 15, 20 other venues that list podcasts and the RSS feed for Tom Donahue Reports. Okay, I have one for health. Now, that Substack URL is a little bit different because I think the way I think if you put apostrophes and other things in there or it's too long, I wasn't able to make the changes. So for my Tom's Health and Healing News, you would have to go to tdonahue.substack.com. And I do see my last name spelt incorrectly at times, but most of you get it right. It's Donahue, Donahue. So it's tdonahue.substack.com. That's for the health news. Near and dear to my heart beyond politics and health. And of course, when I say politics, I'm talking about rescuing our republic, our liberty, our freedom, truth in all matters, and it does matter, is the love of animals. And I was really surprised I was able to secure that name. So the URL for that one, if you are interested in animals, and I think most of you, except maybe Christy Nome, and scumbags that mistreat and abuse animals. We can put the New York government officials there, or at least the government agencies, I should say, that went after Peanut the squirrel. And I've got postings that relate to that horror story. And I usually try, in the love of animals, to post rescue stories and animal stories and pet stories that have a happy ending. Because there's too much negativity, there's too much, I don't want to, unless I'm wanting to expose, I don't want to make this site into a Debbie Downer, an area of more upset and heartbreak and depression and anxiety. So for the most part, you're going to find articles that like, wow, okay, they saved that animal, or that animal's now in a happy and secure home, or that animal bounced back or it healed. So I was able to secure that name for the domain, for that URL, loveofanimals.substack.com, loveofanimals.substack.com. So there are the 4 pages that relating to my interests, my profession, to talk radio. So I plan to do more on all 4 of those pages. So feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to address those to me. And again, my email address that I was able to regain, which I've had since 2009, is talker57@hotmail.com. TALKER57@hotmail.com. Now, I do have as a secondary address, because if you're doing stuff with an Android phone or Google, you have to have a Google email. That still does exist, but I don't promote that because that's not an email that I use that often. But I was glad I had it when I was locked out without any justification. But I was locked out of my email, which was very troubling. I mean, I didn't know for sure if I could finagle and figure out some way in, and eventually, finally, I succeeded. So that's a good thing. And I have a new laptop. I had this replace a laptop I had for 12 years, and things are fast and efficient. But when you make those changes too, then you've got to update everything. But I'm just about there now, so that's all good. I did publish. Although I did record it, but then I didn't publish it and do the editing right away. The magnitude of the MAGA win for Trump and how Trump triumphed. So that was the previous podcast and briefing. I have a lot more ideas and things I want to address, I want to get to. So I look forward to this year. I'm going to make it a big year, an impactful year. I hope you'll be along for the journey with me. I'm Tom Donahue for Tom Donahue Reports and the Briefing. Have a great day.